Welcome back to my channel Learning English Level 3. I'm really glad you're here today. Today's video is not just a story. It is a journey. It is a lesson about failure, pressure, discipline, and belief. In this video, we will explore the life story of Elon Musk. This story will motivate you to think beyond limits. It will help you understand the power of persistence. And it will help you improve your English listening skills step by step. So stay with me till the end. And before we begin, please subscribe to the channel. Your support means a lot. Helps me continue creating content that helps you grow. Now let's begin. The life story of Elon Musk. 1. A quiet child with an unusual mind. Elon Musk was born in 1971 in Pretoria, South Africa. From a very young age, it was clear that he did not think like most children. He was not loud. He was not attention-seeking. He was quiet, observant, and deeply curious about the world around him. Elon spent much of his time inside his own mind. While other children enjoyed constant play and conversation, he was comfortable with silence. He watched people closely. He listened more than he spoke. He noticed patterns, behaviors, and details that others missed. His mind was never still. He was always thinking, always questioning, always trying to understand how things worked beneath the surface. He asked questions that surprised adults. Questions that did not sound like a child's questions. Why does the world work this way? Why do machines follow rules? Why does technology change people's lives? What will the future look like years from now? Elon did not enjoy small talk. He found it empty and distracting. It did not interest him. What interested him were deep questions. Questions about life, science, technology, and the universe. Even as a child, his thoughts were not limited to the present moment. He was already thinking ahead. Already imagining possibilities far beyond his surroundings. Many adults misunderstood him. Because he often stayed silent, some believed he was slow. Because he took time before answering, some thought he was distracted. But the truth was very different. Elon was not slow. He was thinking deeply. He was processing ideas carefully before speaking. This habit of deep thinking later became one of his greatest strengths. It allowed him to focus for long periods of time without distraction. It helped him think independently instead of following the crowd. It taught him how to ignore noise, opinions, and unnecessary criticism. In a world full of loud voices and constant distraction, Elon learned something rare at a very young age. He learned the power of quiet thinking. That quiet, focused mind would later become the foundation of ideas that changed industries, challenged limits, and reshaped the future. 2. Books, bullying, and building inner strength. Elon's childhood was not easy. School was a difficult place for him. Other children did not understand his quiet nature. Some saw him as strange. Others saw him as weak. This misunderstanding turned into bullying. He was teased. He was pushed. He was hurt both physically and emotionally. There were days when school felt like a battlefield. Elon often felt unsafe. He felt lonely. He felt isolated from everyone around him. At one point, the bullying became so severe that he was hospitalized. This was a painful experience for a young child. It left deep emotional scars. It could have destroyed his confidence completely. But something different happened. Instead of becoming bitter, Elon became stronger inside. He learned how to survive emotionally. He learned how to protect his mind. He realized early that life can be unfair. He understood that not everyone will be kind. And he learned that strength does not always come from fighting back. Sometimes it comes from endurance. During this difficult time, books became his refuge. Books became his escape from pain. He read constantly. He read whenever he could. He read science fiction. He read about space and distant planets. He read science and philosophy. He read history. Books gave him ideas bigger than his surroundings. They showed him worlds beyond his classroom. They showed him futures beyond his pain. Through books, Elon imagined a life far greater than his present reality, while others saw only his silence. His mind was quietly preparing for something extraordinary. 3. Discovering computers and the power of learning. When Elon Musk was around 10 years old, he discovered computers. This moment became a turning point in his life. It quietly changed the direction of his future. At that time, computers were rare and expensive. Most families did not own one. Most children saw computers as toys or simple games. Elon saw something entirely different. He saw potential. He saw possibility. He saw a tool that could bring ideas to life. To him, a computer was not just a machine. It was a new language. A way to solve problems. A way to build something from nothing. Elon did not wait for a teacher to guide him. He did not wait for permission from anyone. He did not question whether he was too young. Instead, he took responsibility for his own learning. He taught himself how to program. There were no online courses at the time. No video tutorials. No clear step-by-step instructions. Learning was slow, confusing, and often frustrating. Code failed more often than it worked. Errors appeared constantly. Programs crashed. But Elon did not give up. He stayed patient. He stayed curious. He spent hours trying to understand how code worked. He tested ideas again and again. He made mistakes. Then he fixed them. Each mistake taught him something new. Each failure sharpened his understanding. Through this process, Elon learned a powerful lesson. You do not need perfect conditions to learn. You do not need approval or guidance. You only need curiosity and discipline. This habit of self-learning became a core part of his identity. Whenever Elon faced a new challenge, he learned it himself. He studied deeply. He started from the basics. This mindset followed him into adulthood. When he entered new industries, he did not rely only on experts. He learned from the ground up. He asked questions. He studied details. This ability to teach himself complex subjects became one of his greatest strengths. It allowed him to move across industries. It allowed him to challenge limits. And it allowed him to build ideas others believed were impossible. 4. The first success at just 12 years old. By the age of 12, Elon Musk was no longer just learning quietly in the background. He had reached a new stage. He was creating something of his own. Using the programming skills he had taught himself, Elon decided to build a video game. This was not an assignment. No one asked him to do it. It came purely from curiosity and interest. He worked patiently, writing lines of code and testing them again and again. The process was slow. Mistakes were common. But he stayed focused. Eventually the game was complete. He named it Blaster. By today's standards, the game was simple. The graphics were basic. The design was limited. But for a 12-year-old working alone, it was remarkable. Most children at that age were only playing games. Elon had built one from scratch. But he did not stop there. He did something even more unusual. He took action. Instead of keeping the game to himself, he decided to share it. He contacted a magazine and offered his game to them. The magazine agreed to publish it. And they paid him for it. The amount of money was small. It did not change his life financially. But the lesson it taught him was massive. For the first time, Elon truly understood something important. Skills have value. Ideas can become real products. Knowledge can create opportunity. This experience gave him confidence. Not the loud or arrogant kind, but a quiet, steady belief in his own ability. It showed him that age does not limit what you can do. What matters is effort, curiosity, and learning. More importantly, it taught him a deeper lesson. Learning alone is not enough. Action matters. When learning is combined with action, real change happens. Ideas move from the mind into the world. This lesson stayed with Elon for the rest of his life. It shaped how he approached every future project. It became the foundation of everything he built later. 5. Leaving home to chase bigger opportunities. As Elon Musk grew older, he slowly began to feel limited by his surroundings in South Africa. It was not that he disliked his country or his people. It was that his curiosity and ambition had outgrown the opportunities available to him. His dreams were becoming larger and clearer. He wanted deeper learning, greater exposure to technology, direct access to innovation and advanced research. He dreamed of working in fields where ideas could turn into real impact, where imagination could become invention, where technology could shape the future. Elon wanted to be surrounded by people who were building, experimenting, and challenging limits. He did not want to simply observe progress. He wanted to be part of it. But with these dreams came a hard truth. Growth would require change. And change would require sacrifice. To move forward, he would have to leave what was familiar. Leaving home meant leaving comfort. It meant leaving family, friends, and everything he knew. It meant stepping into uncertainty alone, without guarantees. This decision was not easy. There was fear. There was doubt. There was risk. Still, Elon chose courage over comfort. He chose possibility over safety. He left South Africa and moved to Canada by himself. He arrived with very little money. No powerful connections. No safety net to fall back on. No clear plan that promised success. What he did have was belief. Belief in his ability to learn. Belief in his willingness to work hard. And a clear vision of the future he wanted to build. This moment became a turning point in his life. It showed that real growth often begins in discomfort. That progress rarely comes from staying where things feel safe. Sometimes to move forward you must be brave enough to walk away from what is familiar and step into the unknown. 6. Hard labor, survival, and self-discipline. Life in Canada was far from the dream Elon had imagined. Reality arrived quickly, and it was harsh. Elon Musk had to work physically demanding jobs just to survive. There was no comfort, There was no safety net. Every day was about earning enough to keep going. One of the jobs he took was cleaning boilers. The work was extremely tough. The spaces were dark and cramped. The conditions were harsh and unsafe. It was dirty work. It was dangerous work. And it was exhausting. He worked long hours. His body was constantly tired. His hands became rough and worn. There was no luxury, no rest, and no praise. Many people in his position would have quit. Many would have returned home. Many would have chosen comfort over struggle. Elon did not. He reminded himself that this phase was temporary. He believed this hardship was part of a larger journey. He believed the struggle had meaning, even if it was painful. These years slowly shaped his character. They taught him discipline. They taught him humility. They taught him how to endure pressure without breaking. He learned that progress is not always exciting or inspiring. Sometimes it is painful. Sometimes it is repetitive. Sometimes it feels invisible. But he kept going. Later in life, when he faced extreme pressure, impossible deadlines, and the risk of total failure, he remembered these early years. He remembered working in silence. He remembered surviving without comfort. He remembered pushing forward when quitting would have been easier. He knew he had survived worse. He knew he could endure again. These years never made headlines. No one applauded them. No one celebrated them. But they built the foundation of his strength. They prepared him for pressure. They trained him for endurance. And they helped turn struggle into discipline. And discipline into resilience. 7. Education, ambition, and the desire to build. After his time in Canada, Elon Musk moved to the United States. This move was intentional. Placed him closer to the world he wanted to be part of. A world driven by advanced science, technology, and innovation. He chose to study physics and economics. This decision was not accidental. It reflected how he wanted to understand the world at its deepest levels. Physics helped him understand how the universe works. It explained energy and motion. It explained matter, forces, and space. It helped him think logically and precisely about reality itself. Economics helped him understand people and systems. It explained incentives and behavior. It explained how resources move. It explained how decisions shape outcomes. Together, these two subjects gave him a powerful perspective. Physics explained how the world functions. Economics explained how humans interact within it. But even during his studies, Elon did not see education the way most people did. He was not interested in following a traditional path. He did not dream of a safe job or a comfortable routine. Stability was not his goal. He wanted impact. To Elon, education was not a destination. It was a tool to understand problems deeply, a tool to design real solutions, a tool to build things that could change the future. While many students focused on grades, resumes, and career paths, Elon focused on questions. What problems are big enough to matter? What challenges could affect the future of humanity? What systems are broken and need rebuilding? He was not attracted to small goals or easy wins. He was drawn to difficult problems that others avoided. Problems that required long-term thinking. Problems that demanded effort, risk, and responsibility. This mindset separated him from most people around him. He was not preparing himself for employment. He was preparing himself for creation. That ambition did not make noise, did not seek attention, but it quietly shaped every decision he made next, and laid the foundation for the path he would eventually take. 8. Early failures, pressure, and near collapse. After completing his studies, Elon Musk stepped into the real world to build companies of his own. This was the moment when theory met reality. And reality was far harsher than any classroom. The early years were chaotic. Nothing followed a clear plan. Nothing moved smoothly. Nothing was guaranteed. Some ideas failed immediately. They never found support. They never gained traction. Other ideas looked promising at first. They attracted attention. They raised hope. But later they collapsed under pressure. Success came briefly and disappeared just as fast. Failure was constant and unavoidable. Money moved quickly, came in through funding and early success. Then it disappeared through costs, mistakes, and setbacks. Stress grew every single day. Pressure came from all directions. Investors questioned his decisions. They doubted his leadership. Critics mocked his ideas publicly. They called his vision unrealistic. The public doubted whether he could succeed at all. At one point, Elon was dangerously close to losing everything. His companies were on the edge of bankruptcy. Failure was no longer a distant fear. It was a real and immediate threat. The pressure was overwhelming. Emotionally, he was exhausted. Mentally, he was stretched beyond limits. Physically, he was running on almost no rest. He worked extreme hours. Sometimes more than 100 hours a week. He barely slept. There were nights when he slept on the office floor. Not because he wanted sympathy, not because he wanted attention or praise, but because he believed deeply in the mission. He believed the work mattered more than comfort, more than balance, more than ease. There were moments of complete exhaustion. Moments filled with doubt. Moments when quitting would have been the easier choice. But Elon stayed. He kept showing up. He kept working. He kept solving problems one by one. These years tested him more than any classroom ever could. They forced him to grow under extreme pressure. They forced him to face failure directly, without excuses. This period did not make him successful yet. But it hardened his mindset. It strengthened his resilience. And it prepared him for everything that came next. 9. Risking everything on an impossible vision. One of Elon Musk's boldest and most dangerous dreams was private space travel. At the time, this idea sounded unrealistic to almost everyone. Many experts said it was impossible. Some called it foolish. Others said it was a complete waste of money and time. For decades, space travel had been controlled only by governments. It was extremely expensive, moved slowly, and failure was common. Most people believed private companies had no place in space. But Elon believed something very different. He believed humanity needed a long-term plan for survival. He believed humans must become a multi-planet species. He believed that if all of humanity stayed on one planet forever, it was too risky. This belief was not about fame or profit. It was about the future. Driven by this idea, Elon started a private space company. From the very beginning, the journey was brutal. The early rocket launches failed again and again. Some rockets exploded seconds after takeoff. Others never made it off the ground. Years of work disappeared in moments. Millions of dollars were lost instantly. Each explosion was painful, not only financially, but emotionally as well. Elon felt personally responsible for every failure. He felt the pressure from investors who were losing patience. He felt the weight of public criticism growing louder. He felt the fear of complete collapse closing in. Many people expected him to quit. Many believed quitting would be the logical choice. But instead of giving up, Elon did something rare. He slowed down and studied every failure carefully. He analyzed every detail, every broken part, every design mistake. He asked hard questions. What went wrong? Why did it fail? What can be improved? Each failure became a lesson. Each loss made the next design stronger. Each mistake deepened his understanding. Then came the most critical moment of his life. Elon invested his last remaining money into one final launch. If it failed, everything would be over. The company would collapse. The dream would end. It was the biggest risk he had ever taken. But Elon believed something deeply. Progress requires courage. And fear should never be the one to decide the future. That final launch succeeded. Then another one succeeded. And another. Slowly, confidence returned. Not overnight, but step by step. Success did not arrive suddenly. It came after relentless persistence. After years of pressure. After refusing to quit when quitting would have made sense. This chapter of his life proved a powerful truth. Impossible dreams do not fail because they are impossible. They fail only when people stop trying. 10. Redefining the future through persistence and innovation. Over time, the work of Elon Musk began to reshape entire industries. Ideas that once sounded unrealistic slowly became real. Electric vehicles were no longer strange or impractical. They became powerful, efficient, and desirable. People began to see clean energy as the future, not a compromise. Space exploration changed as well. What was once slow, costly, and limited became faster and more affordable. Private innovation proved that space was not only for governments anymore. Clean energy gained serious global attention. Solar power, batteries, and sustainable systems became part of real conversations about the planet's future. What once sounded impossible began to look inevitable. But success did not make Elon slow down. It did the opposite. Sharpened his focus. He did not see success as an ending. He saw it as responsibility. To him, progress meant thinking long-term. Not in months, not in years, but in decades, even centuries. He believes humanity must plan ahead. He believes innovation is not optional. It is necessary for survival. This mindset explains why he continues to push boundaries, why he keeps working under pressure, why he continues to take risks others avoid. Elon Musk's life offers lessons that apply far beyond technology. You do not need a perfect past to build a strong future. You do not need approval from everyone to move forward. What you need is discipline. The discipline to keep going when motivation fades. You need continuous learning. The willingness to start from zero again and again. You need persistence. Especially when things become uncomfortable. Especially when quitting feels easier than continuing. Failure is not the end. Failure is feedback. Criticism is not a stop sign. Criticism is information. Elon Musk was once a quiet, bullied child. He was misunderstood. He was doubted. Today, he is a global innovator whose ideas influence the future of humanity. Not because life was easy. Not because success was guaranteed. But because he refused to quit when things became painful. And that is the real lesson of his story. Your story is still being written. Your struggles are not the end of the road. With effort, belief, patience, and courage, your future can be powerful too. Keep learning, keep building, and never stop moving forward. Here are 2 strong motivational closing paragraphs written directly for the audience, perfect for a YouTube ending. They are emotional, encouraging, and easy to understand without sounding childish. If Elon Musk's story teaches us anything, it is this. Your starting point does not decide your destination. You may feel misunderstood. You may feel behind. You may feel afraid of failure. But none of that means your journey is over. Every challenge you face today is shaping the strength you will need tomorrow. Great futures are not built in comfort. They are built through patience, learning, and the courage to keep going when things feel hard. So wherever you are right now, do not give up. Keep learning even when it feels slow. Keep trying even when mistakes happen. Believe in your ability to grow. Your progress may not be visible yet, but it is real. Your story is still being written, and the next chapter can be stronger than the last. Stay focused, stay curious, and never stop moving forward.